Something that's been interesting with this early voting and just voting in general have been some of the conversations, right? So basically, Barry said today, if you don't know who Barry is, it's President Barack Hussein Obama. Barry, Barry from the block. Barry said today that basically the black vote is not on lock for Hillary. So all we've heard this whole cycle is that she got that vote on lock. Black people love them some Hillary because she got the hot sauce in her bag and hot sauce in her bag swag. Yeah, but apparently with the voter turn and like I said, there are reasons why the voter turnout is down, and we can talk about like I said, we talked about some of the Republican obstructionism. There are all different types of reasons, but some of it also could be the fact that the Democrats and the Hillary Clinton and the Clinton's campaign have a whack-tastic ground game. I mean, they're really relying heavily on these progressive organizations to do all the legwork, rely on volunteers. I mean, how many of you are maybe you unsubscribed? I did it because I like the intel. But if I get one more damn email from Michael Moore or Lizzie Warren or I don't know who, I'm gonna reach to the computer and slap some damn body. Like, seriously, the desperation, it reeks. It absolutely reeks. And instead of, like Carbear and others talked about this back in August, shameless plug right now, if you have not seen my latest piece, because I only write every once in a blue moon, need to wait? No, organize now on progressivearmy.com. One thing I highlight, and I credit Carl for this most definitely, is just thinking about how after, and you saw it even happening during the convention, right? We've seen it happening all throughout this cycle with touting the Republicans who are supporting Hillary Clinton. On the one hand, we're talking about how awful the Republicans are because the Republicans are disenfranchising people from the right to vote and engaging in voter suppression. But on the flip side, we're touting these people because they're reasonable. We're holding them up. And when I'm saying we, it's this sarcastic, euphemistic we. We saw coming out of August, I mean, how many commercials? I see so many commercials about Republicans who just have to do the right thing and vote for Hillary Clinton, but these are the same people who have no problem with voter ID laws and other suppressive tactics that have been happening all over the country. And then you're complaining because we're 5 days away, and this is possibly one of the reasons why voting is down in one of your supposedly the blocks you really care about. Now, this to me, and a lot of us have already talked about this, she's not really talking, okay, she got Obama doing that. Shout out to my girl BJ talking about Obama on the Chitlin circuit today. You got Obama talking about how, Black people got to vote against Trump. We got to vote for Hillary to protect his legacy. First he tried to wag the finger at us. Then he started talking to cousin Pookie. Who the hell got a cousin named Pookie? I don't know. I don't know what antiquated television shows you've been watching, but my cousins they don't go by Pookie. I don't know. Apparently today, his newest things are, there's a whole long list of things, including Michelle's garden that we have to protect, and that's why we need to vote for Hillary. My dude, are you serious? Go ahead, Brandon.
I just don't understand why it's everyone else's job except for theirs to make themselves look good. It's like, why is this whole election should be called the decentralization of Hillary Clinton, in the sense that it's everyone else's job and responsibility and moral obligation to make sure that she wins so that Trump does not. But ultimately, they were not as concerned with Trump winning when they were trying to push him to the head of the class. They weren't concerned about Trump winning when they were trying to shore up support for the craziest Republican candidates to make Hillary Clinton seem more reasonable by comparison. And Obama wasn't concerned about his legacy when he was jailing whistleblowers or when he was
He's not worried about his legacy when today he sits down in an interview and says he's going to let things out at the pipeline just continue as they've been going, and maybe we'll figure something out.
This is the first election where there has been this election has had the most transparency of any election in American history, I would say, because of the proliferation of social media, because of the ability of hackers to hack into one's private databases and release information to the public. We have never seen an election like this before, but I think we need to be expecting this kind of dynamic to be what elections look like from now on. And Hillary Clinton is playing an old game in a new world.
Shout out to Wendy Muse. on Twitter as Muse Wendy. Because going back to Obama was talking about how voters just say it's just not really feeling it, it's just not really there, it's lacking. And she was talking about basically how, well, maybe the problem's the candidate, right? Maybe the problem is the candidate in the party. Like, again, they spent all this time touting all the Republicans, and George W. Bush is voting for her. Both of them, all of the Bushes, the whole damn Bush family's voting for her. Just a few years ago, y'all was talking about how the whole damn Bush family was war criminals. Now we excited because they voted for her. Go ahead, Brandon.
Look, I jump into that. That is the weirdest mentality I have ever seen. This sort of pride that people have taken in being supported by their enemies, right?
Yes.
And so, from my perspective, so I wouldn't call myself a decent human being, but I walk upright, so I do all right for a human being, for a mammal at least. What I would say is that if I were being supported by someone like, I would take a long, hard look at myself, because I would think, oh my God, what have I done in my life to make me attractive to Henry Kissinger? What have I done in my life to make me an attractive candidate for George W. Bush? And I would have a good long look at my history. But these people take it as a symbol of pride that they have sort of bridged that gap between Republican and Democrat in a way that I find to be kind of gross. And I had a thought today, or maybe a few days ago, that I thought I would share. In 2020, we're going to have the first election where I'm assuming we're going to have the first election, if things keep going the same way they're going now, where there will be people voting, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds voting, that have never lived in a country not under war. Like have never lived in a country that has not been at war. We're going to have a generation
grown up. Yeah, my kids have grown up. We've been in perpetual warfare since my daughter was about 2 weeks old.
Yeah,
she was born a couple weeks before September 11th. Yeah,
they will have never known America that has not been in perpetual warfare, and that has become the new normal. And if you don't think that's problematic, I would point to the sort of tweets that we've been seeing coming out now, where people talk about, it's ideal that we can't be involved in drone warfare in 8 separate Muslim countries. That it's idealistic, because that's the effect that perpetual warfare has on people. It normalizes it. So when you point out that these are gross, these are war crimes,
right,
and a decent country would be condemning these things, all people can think, well, it's always been like this. And so next election, we will have a group of 18, 20-year-olds, give or take, who, for them, the idea that your country would not be at war would, they can conceptualize, that's what they've grown up under, generally. And so the idea of war, or peace, rather, let's put it that way, as being a meaningful political talking point, that we won't be at war, will disappear. That's going to start disappearing. Well, it's already disappeared in this electoral cycle. The idea that not being at war, or not wanting to go to war, or not being a war hawk is, like that being a good quality is going to go away. Like the idea that wanting peace is a prerequisite for liberal candidates, and that worries me.
No, I agree. And just, there was another quote I had for tonight was from Goddess Chantel. Interesting to see at the Democrats in panic mode over the black vote, all while they fake care about real black issues. So, I mean, like I said, like when you come out of, I mean, the fact that you have the mothers of the movement on the same stage as Bloomberg, Mr. Stop and Frisk is A-OK, Mr. Black Men shouldn't own guns. Like it's such a problem. He's not with the vitriol. He's a former Trump friend up until like maybe 7 months ago. All these recent people who that always gets me. We talk about how awful Trump has been for the last several decades, and I'm about to get to Trump in a minute. But we talk about how awful Trump has been, but all these people hung out with him up until this election cycle, like up until the primaries, like up until the last winter, up until a year ago, right? Russell Simmons can go on and on about, whatever, but it's like, dude, you hung out with, he wrote the foreword to your damn book. Okay, your credibility is kind of shot. So when you see someone like, Hillary Clinton, who's this great champion of blackness, catering to people who enabled the current environment that we have, right? Because and shameless plugging in, need to wait, organize now. on progressivearmor.com, my latest piece. I talk about how we've seen these people that we're championing as reasonable Republicans have continued to grow and develop this environment that exists that allowed someone like Donald Trump to rise and take over. And it's a two-way street because Democrats didn't do anything to combat it. And quite honestly, the progressive left has been so fragmented and focused on whatever pet issues that it hasn't really taken race on ahead until it got specifically challenged, in the past few years, particularly around criminal justice reform and Black Lives Matter in particular. So, I mean, we the fact that we're now all like, oh my God, the black vote, y'all only care about the damn black vote when it's time to win an election. Don't nobody care about growing and creating black political power. And this is something that we need to be focused on as individuals, and not just black political power, but people power in general. This is what we need to be organizing on instead of hoping that we get asked to the big dance. Have an alternative prom yourself.